Oh, wow. Hey, much love and respect to everybody that's tuned in tonight. Thank you for being here once again. Appreciate all the real ones out there. Much love, my family. And yeah, I just wanted to do this video today. Quick video, real quick. We're going to show a couple of images here so we can break these spells, our prejudices, you know, get a clear perspective of what really happened, when we're talking about Asians, right? And them being brought over here, during colonial times. Who exactly were they bringing? All right. Now, I wanted to do this video a long time ago, but I don't think we were actually ready to hear this yet. I think now we're a little bit open to the fact that, you know, Negroes were all over the world. So-called Negroes were all over the world, right? And learning about the Black Europeans, so-called Black Indians, things they never told us. We're a little bit more open now, and acceptable of certain things. I know there's still a lot of people out there that are prejudiced, and just want to label people tags and then call people Asian or Mongol or anything like that. But what I want to show today real quick is a part of history also that they never tell us about, that really doesn't get mentioned in school or anything like that, even though a lot of us know about the indentured servants and things like that were brought over to the Caribbean, Mexico, California, South America, uh, back in colonial times, all the way to like the 1800s, even 1900s, still happening, actually, I would say. Um, so this is the cover of the video. Now, I was gonna, a lot of people have requested for me to go ahead and read this book right here, which is called Asian Slaves in Colonial Mexico, From Chinos to Indians by Tatiana Sejas. All right. Now, we are going to get into this book, and we are going to get into the history of the indentured servitude system and people coming from Asia, that a lot of them ended up in the Americas, especially in the Caribbean. A lot of the Caribbean folks out there, you guys already know about this. You guys already know about the coolies and all that. I know you guys do. I just want to read something in this book, very important, that people overlook, because we just hear Chinos to Indians. So a lot of people like to kind of generalize and assume, when they're talking about Chinos, they're talking about modern day Chinese or people from China, looking people, pale skin, straight hair, what we picture of Chinese today. But actually, as it says in this book, I'm gonna read it to you right now in the introduction. All right, it says, during the last 16th and 17th centuries, countless slaves from culturally diverse communities in the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia journeyed to Mexico on the ships of the Manila galleon. Again, from where? From Southeast Asia, all right? Southeast Asia and the subcontinent, the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia, all right? Not from China. They're not bringing these people from China or Mongolia, all right? Not China or Mongolia. They're coming from the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. All right, gonna back to the cover right here real quick, because again, it's a pretty good book. We're gonna definitely get into it, but not on this video, because first we got to break some prejudices. Now that we understand the book is telling us it's coming from these people were coming from the subcontinent, the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia, not China, not Korea, not all those places up there, not Mongolia, Southeast Asia people. Okay, so get that in your heads right now. Right? Even though they're in this book, she's calling them Chinos. And that's what they did call these people, Chinos, right? We saw the caste system in Mexico back in colonial times. I've shown the videos about with that. And, we saw that a lot of the times they were labeling some of the people there who were very dark skinned, who looked like so-called Negros, as Chinos. They would put Chino in an India or a Chino in a Sambo, getting together, and then they show the offspring. So this is what they meant when they were talking about so-called Chinos, all right? So-called Chinos. Again, from Southeast Asia and the Indian subcontinent. So this is the type of people we're gonna go over it today. So hope you guys enjoy the video. With these images, I colorized some of them, and just so we can get a clear perspective, right? We already know, a lot of people has already shown us the works before, even the Pan-African elders that came before us, shown us, all the ancient so-called black people of Asia, the original people of Asia, what they could have kind of looked like. As you can see here, we got statues of Buddha, right? With the hair, look at the hair, right? And then you see the people down here, these Dravidians, people of India, right? With the nappy hair, you see the first guy, right? Right? This is another picture of Buddha right here. As you can see, another statue, I'm sorry, of Buddha. All right. Again, ancient, Asia, right? Ancient Asia. Now, right here, we got two South Indian women and a girl. All right. I just want you guys to see. All right. So again, remember the book said they were coming from the Indian subcontinent. All right. So they were bringing Hindus and Indian Hindus, right? Not Indians, American, but Hindus, right? They were bringing them over here during colonial times for indentured servitude. All right. So this is two women and a young girl. And then we got this brother right here. He's a tribal man from New Caledonia, right? New Caledonia. This is in Southeast Asia, just like the book just told us that they were calling Chinos. And what did the book say? In that book, we're going to read it. Don't worry, we're going to get to that book in another video. But they were basically labeling them Chinos. A lot of them eventually got labeled Indians. All right? That's what the book said. And that's what you guys been telling me to please read for all these years. Please read this book, Kurimeo. You got to talk about the Asians that came here and took our identity and became Indians. They weren't even Indians. They were Asians. All right, well, I'm showing you them today. Thank you. Again, Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. These are the people. All right, again, New Caledonia. Google where these places are. New Caledonia, so you can see the location. Again, for all the Pan-Africans out there, no, these people did not originate in Africa. Shout out to Copper Hotstep. He did a great video once showing the Andaman Islanders haplogroups, their DNA test. This is done by specialists, scientists, genealogists. They were able to determine that these people trace back to Asian haplogroups, right? Not Africa. None of these people's DNA goes back to Africa or ancestors. They're Asians. That is their ancestral homeland. All right, Asians. And if they did come from another place, it wasn't Africa before that, all right? Because a lot of these people do look like Americans, right? Like the indigenous people in America, right? So is there a connection? Most likely. But again, these people do not trace back to Africa. So kill that right now. And all the Pan-Africans in the house, you're wrong. And if you think so, prove it. But we already know, based on DNA, the haplogroups do not go back. Also, shout out to UBTB. He did a great series regarding all these, the people, I believe it's called The Smartest Beast of the Field, and that series, and how he showed all the different haplogroups and all that. Great series. Go ahead and check it out. He kind of touches on this a lot too. So I just wanted to continue and remind everybody. Now, this image I thought was very, it says here, why are slanted eyes only associated with Asian people, right? So again, kill the prejudices. Just because somebody has so-called slanted eyes or Asian eyes doesn't mean, they're Mongols or Chinese, all right? And the left, we got a Dinka girl. She's from Africa. The Dinkas, that's what they look like. I had an experiment once, and we put up some Dinka images, and I put feather headdresses on them and everything. People were calling them Mongols. People were calling them Taiwanese, Japanese, all this other stuff. And they were actually Africans. They were very surprised to find out they were Africans. On the right here, we got a Khoisan girl, one of the original people in Africa. The Khoisans are one of the oldest people in Africa. And they'll tell you they didn't originate there. They came from somewhere else up in the north. I would say, in my research, and I hope to do a future video on the Khoisan, I believe they were coming from the Caucasus, Caucasian area, the original Caucasians that went down into eventually Africa. But, you know, for now, let's leave it as my opinion, right? So don't worry, you know how I work. Eventually, I'm going to have the sources. We're going to try to go ahead and unlock that mystery. But I just wanted to make that clear. These are two Africans right here. As you can see, the one on the right, very light skinned, the one on the left, very dark. You know, even though they got the slanted eyes, they look kind of like each other, but you see the different shades, right? Even in Africa, right? Even in Africa. This is a Tamil girl from Ceylon, Sri Lanka. Again, remember that book told us that they were bringing these people and labeling them Indians, these Chinos, so-called Chinos from Southeast Asia and the Indian subcontinent. This is a Tamil girl. So Google the Tamil people, try to look for the old pictures, and this is what you're gonna find. All right. All right. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. If you just arrived, we're just going over some pictures here of Asians. Yeah, Asians. So enjoy the video. Welcome. Right here, we got also other people from Sri Lanka, indigenous Sri Lankan people. All right, again, Southeast Asian, Indian subcontinent, as you can see. These are Sinhalese, not Senegalese, Sinhalese women. All right, Sinhalese women, again, remember, Southeast Asia, the Indian subcontinent is where they were bringing these so-called Asians from, not from China. That happened on much later on when they was trying to build railroads and stuff in the 1800s. That's when they started really bringing in those, you know, the lighter ones and the ones we think of Chinese today. But originally, as the book said, 1600s, all right, 1600s, these are the Southeast Asians. These are the Asians they're bringing in. We're just getting started. This is another Sinhalese man, all right, another Sinhalese man. These are Asians. As you can see, his beard, that's what you guys would call nappy, right? And a lot of you always tell me, Kurimeo, how come you never show us any Indians with beard, any nappy hair? Well, it does, you know, here you go. Here goes a so-called Indian with beard. Actually, I'm sorry, not Indian. He's a Sinhalese man. All right, as you can see. I thought this was a great picture. Again, I colorized these pictures. A lot of these pictures are very small, hard to look at. You know, it takes time to find these good images. Hope you got it. All right, hold on, let me see. Okay, got stuck here. Just bear with me. Okay, here we go. We got Sinhalese so-called devil dancers, it says here. That's, you know, according to, you know, foreigners labeling them that. All right. So Sinhalese so-called devil dancers, as you can see. All right. Again, none of these people trace back to Africa. You got to break that out of Africa. You know, spell. I know if you Google or if you put Black Asians on YouTube, you're gonna get these documentaries with Tariq and that other guy that, you know, collects money and never builds schools. You know what I'm talking about. That guy who's always talking about send me money, I need it, and nothing ever happens. You know, he just keeps telling you everybody's African. You know, nothing really ever happens. You don't learn anything, right? This is a Sinhalese woman as well. So yeah, I found a couple of these. I thought as I was looking for these images, I found out a lot. You know, I learned a lot. People have tribes I've never heard of. You know, I never expected to find so many. I mean, I've seen the people of color over there. It's just overwhelming. All the information and all the facts that we don't even know. The things we kind of really don't. You know, we look over. We don't really think about. Right. This is again a Sinhalese woman. All right. And you can't tell me none of these people wouldn't be labeled so-called Negros, right? If they didn't get labeled Indians, what do you think they got labeled then? If they didn't get labeled Indians, eventually they would be labeled so-called Negroes, right? So again, we know that there was a lot of so-called Negroes being brought up from the Caribbean or somewhere else, or replacing so-called natives people. So was it always Black Europeans or so-called Africans? No, most of the time, and a lot of the time, it was these people, right? What we're looking at right now, these are Sentinelese men. That's spelled S-E-N. Well, you guys can see the text up here. All right, Sentinelese men. Just Google Sentinelese. You'll see where they're located. Southeast Asia. Again, these people do not trace back. They don't trace back to Africa. You got to break that spell. I know it's hard, but these people do not trace back to Africa. All right, very important. Very important to understand. This is a portrait of another Sinhalese girl. So again, just to back up, these are Sentinelese. They're not the same as the Sinhalese. These are Sentinelese, and this is a portrait of a Sinhalese girl. It says wearing ornaments in the 1880s. Look at that. All right. This is a portrait of a Bayadir Devadasi temple dancer from 1857. Again, she's a Hindu. This is from India. This is a Hindu. The Indian subcontinent, that's what the book told us. They were bringing these so-called Asian slaves. The Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia, not China. All right. This is what a Southeast Asian or a Indian subcontinent person or woman looked like, especially back in the 1500s, 1600s. Remember, these pictures are from the 1800s because that's when camera was invented. All right. Now imagine 200-300 years before that, before people started, or the ethnic cleansing began, as a majority, started happening all over the place. All right. So again, break the spells. Break the spells. These are Polynesians, right? Indigenous Polynesians. Look how they look. They don't look the same, right? But they're the same people. They're in the same tribe. I don't know if they're holding hands, if they're brother and sisters, or if they're like a little couple. I don't know. But as you can see, different kind of almost phenotypes. Not really, maybe. Some would probably say she's more indigenous than him because he looks more Asian. But remember what we saw earlier with the Dinka and the Khoisan. Those are Africans, right? They look more Asian than this Polynesian girl who's not African. Tell me that's not true. The Dinka from Africa and the Khoisan look more Asian than this Polynesian who has nothing to do with Africa. Yes, I know you probably confuses a lot of you, but that's the truth. That's the truth. So stop with the prejudices and stereotyping people based on looks. I know you, I don't think you guys were expecting these Asians. I know a lot of you were. I know a lot of you are hip, and you ain't with that prejudice stuff. You already knew this stuff. Even the Pan-African teachers, they tell you in these documentaries, even though they're telling you they're coming from Africa, thousands and thousands of years before that, even though they got no proof of it, they just assumed because of their color, they just assumed, right? Even those Pan-Africans are telling you, these are our brothers and sisters, these are so-called Negros. But when they say it, it's okay. If I say it, oh, Kurimeo, why are you trying to show us Mongols and stuff? All right. Well, all right. If you think this is a Mongol, no, well, you're wrong. You're wrong. All right. We have some people from Papua New Guinea, some men here from Papua New Guinea. And we've seen a lot of phenotypes from Papua New Guinea. One of the major phenotypes that is common that we kind of see is that LeBron James look. I'm serious. Just Google Papua New Guinea indigenous people and put even LeBron James. It might come up. You'll see what I'm talking about. So this is in Papua New Guinea. We already know these are people, what they were calling the Negritos. They were calling them Negritos back down there. The Papua New Guinea men. This is a colorized picture. Look at that. It's amazing. Look at that. Look at the hut. It's a real big hut. Very tall. Wow. Look at I believe, mask. All right. Right here we got Koratu Masimoa, Kinabose Jakorabim, and something dwarf, something. The Kabi and the dwarf. These are Fiji. They call them cannibals. So these were people who they had brought to the U.S. This Barnum Circus. Barnum and Bailey had them parading them around in his circus, and they're from the Fiji Islands. And as you can see, they're afros, right, and their coarse hair. So is this what you guys wanted to see? The hair you wanted to see? And I'm not talking about to the real ones out there. I'm talking about to all the trolls. Kurimeo, how come you never show us kinky hair? Kurimeo, why don't you show us kinky hair? Well, here's your kinky hair. Is this what you were expecting, though? Here's your chinos. Here's your chinos. They turn into Indians. I know. In this video, I may sound a little sarcastic, but it's just so we can learn, so we can break all the spells, all right? Sometimes we got to turn it into a joke and we got to have fun with it, because if not, we're just going to get upset, all right? So we're going to take a deep breath and then breathe out. Take a deep breath. Chill. Breathe easy, all right? Just breathe easy. These are Fiji indigenous people, all right, from the Fiji Islands. And well, here we have another Southeast Asian man. I forget the island he was from. Unfortunately, I didn't get the info when I downloaded, but he's from Southeast Asia. He's not from Africa, all right? That's a modern one, right? I didn't colorize this one. He's still there. They're still there, okay? I believe he's from Fiji, though. Right here, we have a Fijian with a native comb, as it says here. He got a comb. He got to pick out his afro. He got to pick an afro pick, right? Again, the book told us they were bringing Southeast Asians and Indian subcontinent people over to Mexico. Now, we know a lot of those people also end up in the Caribbean as indentured servants, So again, we had two middle passages, all right? One was mainly coming from Europe, and the other one was mainly coming from Southeast Asia, not from Africa, guys. You guys got to break that spell. You got to do the research. This is real history. All right, you can actually trace the ships and everything these people came on, just like the Black Europeans and the white Europeans that came as indentured servants. Right, as you can see again, a Fijian with his native comb and his pick. There you go. There goes the kinky hair that you guys wanted to see. All right, he's a Fijian. All right, and now we have, I believe, some more Fijians. I'm fortunate to get the answer, but these are Asians, Southeast Asians. Again, none of these people trace back to Africa. Break the spell. None of these people trace back. The haplogroups are Asian in origin. They're not from Africa. Do the research. Go ahead and debunk me. I'll wait. Debunk me. And I hope you do it with some sources, with some real sources, not some old man from the 80s or 60s talking blah, 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 just showing images talking about they came from Africa thousands of years ago. That's conjecture, because everybody believed that everybody was actually coming out of Africa. That was before. We got to break that. We got to be wiser. We got to grab the new information and apply it with what we're learning, not stay in those prejudice, misconceptions, and pseudo doctrines from these, unfortunately, from these elders that we thought were master teachers. Honestly, whether they didn't know or not, that's fine. But I believe a lot of them did know, all right? Be careful with the gatekeepers. There was gatekeepers back then, 1600s, there's gatekeepers to now, right? These are some more Fijians. Just wanted to show you guys. Look at their afros. The Fijians had a lot of, they rocked the afros a lot, the Fijians. All right, as you can see, look at that. Look at that, perfect. It's all nice and round. He keep it nice and round, all right? You think afros started in the United States? No, it didn't. I'm serious, it didn't. Well, what I'm saying is there was people with afros here, but these people made it into a style way before. it became a style, like a popular style in USA, right? In the 70s. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, again, Fijians and Fijian. I know a lot of people know this image. And again, none of these people trace back to Africa. Break the spell. These people actually grow a lot of hair and beard. They actually grow a lot of hair. They do grow hair. Many Africans don't grow hair like this. I'm just trying to be real here. All right, let's be real. I know Africans, a lot grow hair like with afros, but not like the Fijians. Not like the Fijians. They actually grow a lot of hair. All right. This image goes around the internet a lot. This is a Fijian. Look at his afro. Again, that book told us they were bringing slaves from Southeast Asia. Fiji Islands is in Southeast Asia. And the book is going to tell you a lot of these people were being labeled Indian. Now, if they didn't get labeled Indian, what do you think they got labeled as? So-called Negros, grouped in as Negros, right? They get grouped in with Black Europeans. They get grouped in with the so-called Black Indians. And then everybody forgets who's who after all the mixture. I'm just something for you to think about. It says here, Negritos, the original inhabitants of the Philippines. Oh, I'm sorry, I was a little fast. So yeah, the Philippines, we're going to get in more depth in all these cultures. Again, we're just doing a quick video today with these images, just so we can break, some spells and some prejudices and stereotypes. This is an indentured servant coolie girl in the Caribbean. She's in the Caribbean. She's Hindu. This is a Hindu, right? This is a Hindu. Not the Hindus you normally think of, right? And she's in the Caribbean. So now you take off all this traditional clothing and put on some regular clothing, like some regular person from Trinidad or Martinique, or Jamaica, and you would assume she's just a regular American Indian, right? Well, that's not the case, and this is what I want to show you guys. I'm just trying to be real with you guys, all right? Because everybody likes to point fingers at who's who, who's Indian, who's not Indian, right? So something for you guys to think about. Again, this is an indentured servant, a Hindu woman in the Caribbean. This is another Hindu woman, all right? So a whole different, kind of like phenotype. She's a little lighter, but also, to me, honestly, she looks like many Americans I've seen. I've seen in pictures, movies, TV. So who's to say, who's who based on only on appearances? That's why I want you guys to break that. You got to stop judging people based on appearances. That doesn't work. That was a caste system put, and that was a spell put on all of us, right? And we fell for it, and we started doing what they wanted us to do and point fingers at people and say, well, you're this and you're that and you're green and you're black and you're white and you're not me, you're not this enough, you're not from here, I'm more of this, you're not. We got to stop all that. I know it seems like I'm in a rant today, but it's not. This is an educational rant. Another Hindu woman, just want to show you guys, indentured servants in the Caribbean. All right, that's some nice clothes she got on. You see, that's beautiful. You got like flowers. That's nice. She's barefooted. All right, so I don't know if she's making tea for herself or if she's a servant, but this is an indentured servant where I found the image. We got a Hindu girl. All right, and this is in India. This is an image from India. I colorized, very old picture, I believe from the 1860s or 70s, I think it said. And yeah, this is a Hindu girl, as you can see. Let me just close up a little bit more. Remember the book, all right? Remember the book. Let's go back real quick. All right, if you just got here, a lot of people's been requesting me to read this book for all these years, right? Kurimeo, please read this. Asian slaves in colonial Mexico, they turned Chinese people into Indians. They were labeling Chinese. Well, that was not so accurate. They just termed these people Chinos. All right, let's go back to the introduction again real quick. And I just want to read again. During the late 16th and 17th centuries, countless slaves from culturally diverse communities in the Indian subcontinent, again, from what? From culturally diverse, very diverse, they didn't all look the same, diverse communities in the Indian subcontinent in Southeast Asia journeyed to Mexico on the ships of the Manila galleon. On arrival in Mexico, slave owners and Spanish officials grouped them together, overlooked social and linguistic differences, and categorized them all as Chinos, right? These people ain't Chinese though. So you thought Chinos meant Chinese, right? It doesn't. It didn't back in 1600s Mexico or 1500s. It didn't. I'm going to go back to who they were talking about. They were talking about people like her. Again, Indian subcontinent in Southeast Asia. She's beautiful. Look at the jewelry. Got her traditional clothing on and jewelry. Looking dope, right? Some children in the background here. From her town, maybe, her tribe. All right, got that already. Right here we got some Lankapura from Sri Lanka. These people are from Sri Lanka. I believe Kampola Kandian chiefs. Correct me if I'm wrong, or just go ahead and look up the Gampola Kandayan chiefs, Lankapura. So again, I believe these are from Sri Lanka. Could be wrong, but again, these are Southeast Asians, as you can see. All right, look at him right here. These two brothers right here. And I say brothers, right? Brothers. You want to call them Hindus or whatever. They're not even Hindus. They're not from India. All right. Again, these are the so-called Chinos. They were labeling Indians, supposedly. All right. So we have some Fijian women. Again, the Fijians rocking the afros, right? Rocking the afros. I told you they made it a thing. They made it popular. All right. It wasn't, this is way before the 1970s, right? Way before the 1970s. Some beautiful Fijian women in the traditional clothing in front of their huts. All right. Another Fijian man or chief, as you can see. Everybody rocking the fros. All right. This is an East Indian woman in Suriname. All right. She was an indentured servant, ended up in Suriname, right? South America. She ended up in South America and Suriname. Suriname, Sabah, British Indies, the British Indies. All right. Suriname. Take off all the traditional clothing and then jewelry, put on regular clothes. You would assume she's an American Indian. Oh, she got that good hair, Kurimeo. Yeah, that's us right there, Kurimeo. That's us. That's us. Well, maybe it is us still, but she's coming from again, India. She's a Hindu. This is a Hindu. So if you consider the Hindus your people, us, then yeah, that's us, right? if that's what if that's what you consider the Hindus. Just being real with you guys. This is another East Indian woman. She's from Martinique. All right. She ended up in Martinique. So they ended up all over the Caribbean, a lot of them. All right. Right here we have some coolies in the West Indies, it says. Some coolies in the West Indies. As you can see, all very dark complexion people. The image was very small. It's far away. Can't get enough. You can't get closer to see better, but as you can see. And again, they ended up in the West Indies. I believe this was actually in Jamaica. I believe that's where the picture was from. All right. This is another coolie woman from the West Indies, in the West Indies, I mean, as you can see, very beautiful, nice jewelry. Look at her nose ring. A lot of history and tradition, you know, things that they never teach us. They don't show us these people. They never showed me this stuff in elementary school or anywhere in school. They just told us. We read a little bit about that part of history. I kind of remember, you know, indentured served to the Indians. They brought them over in the 18. No, you know, there's a deeper history before the 1800s. The Spaniards, yeah, the Sephardic Jews and the Moors and the pirates. Those pirates, they were going over there. The Portuguese and the Spaniards, who were Moors, they were going over there enslaving these people like her, bringing them over here to America. And as the book we just read said, a lot of them were eventually in Mexico, a lot of them were being classified as Indians, right? Or a lot of them chose to be classified or pushed to be called Indian so they can get out of their slavery status, all right? And of course, they mixed in most likely a lot of them with the local population and other people that were in Mexico or in the Caribbean, all right? Yes, and even the Black Europeans. So if you got a person like this, and I'm gonna be real with you guys right now, if you got a person like her, she's a Hindu, right? And she goes and she mixes with another indentured servant man, which happens to be a Black Irish, right? Because that was real. That thing that could have happened, right? So their offspring wouldn't even be indigenous at all, right? We have well, he'll be well, he's being born in America. That will make him, I guess, native, right? A native of America, but his parents are from different places. They're not American. One's from Ireland and the other one's from um, India. Now, same case, this lady can mix with an American Indian man, right? A Taino, Arawak, or whatever, Aztec, Mexica, Maya, and same thing, you know, right there. Then we get an offspring, and that would be half indigenous in that case, right? So I'm just giving you different perspectives, all right, to think about. And I know a lot of you probably gonna have still doubt this and be like, what is he trying to do? He's trying to say we're not. No, I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to say nobody's not Indian. You guys are the Indians too. American Indians I'm talking about. Because we're showing Hindus Indians, so we'll stick to Hindus for them, right? But yeah, I just wanted to show that. I thought this was a great image. Colorized it. This is a coolie woman from Trinidad. Look at her. A coolie woman from Trinidad. We got another coolie woman from Trinidad. Again, these are Hindus. The Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asian slaves, descendants that they were bringing. You know, these are the same ones they were bringing even in the 1600s. As you know, the farther back you go, it's just going to get a little bit more melanated. So imagine, who are the Moors really bringing over here? Now we understand that that book meant Southeast Asian and the Indian subcontinent. So when a lot of the abos try to use that book to try to, you know, label somebody a Mongol, they're not really paying attention to what they're saying or reading. It's clearly told you right in the introduction, they were coming from the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. This is what these people look like. And they were calling them Chinos, but they weren't Chinese. Wake up, man. This is a chief of the Savai, one of the Samoan islands. The Savai Island, right? Samoan. Original Samoans. Samoans. All right? Chief of the Savai Island, Samoan Island. These are Kanakis. They're called Kanakis. I don't know if that's only in Spanish, but I guess this is written in French in the bottom. So it says Kanakis, Tribu de Bele, Novo Caledonia. So this is from New Caledonia. Again, Southeast Asians. Southeast Asians. That's where the book said they were bringing the slaves from. This is what a Southeast Asian looked like, especially, listen, especially 1500s, 1600s. All right. This is a picture from the 1800s. So imagine they still look like that today. New Caledonia. New Caledonians also have very kinky hair. They get froze too, but they don't rock it as much as the Fijians, right? They had a different hairstyles and a lot of them cut it short or just hanged. You can see like curlyish hair on this guy, but they do have the what you call kinky hair, right? I don't like saying these words, kinky, nappy, you know what I mean? But just, you know, so you guys can understand. Again, these are Southeast Asians. Again, not, they don't trace back to Africa. Anybody just came in right now that's a Pan-African? Well, they're still from Africa, but no, they're not. That's your conjecture. That's false. These people's haplogroups groups and they go back to Asia. They have an Asian origin, not African. You can do the research if you like. Some more people from New Caledonia, like I said, you know, and again, these people do not trace back to Africa. Novo Caledonia. All right. Kanakis. Kanakis, these are the indigenous people, the Kanakis. Nova Caledonia, New Caledonia, with the banana trees. New Caledonians, original New Caledonians. Again, Southeast Asians. Southeast Asians. Okay, this is Malayans. These are some Malays, I believe. Yeah, these are from Malaysia. All right. And they have also, as you call kinky hair, the afro, right? Again, Southeast Asians. This is a more modern picture. This is from the 1900s, I believe. So they still look like that there. This is a young Hindu woman from Bombay, 1865. 1865, a Hindu. 1865. These are the type of people, these are the slaves that they were bringing, the Moors that they were bringing from Asia. All right? Break the spell. Break the spell. Right here, we got a group of Sikh sappers, combat engineers, and they're Hindus. Look at their beard. All right. And remember, a lot of these people that were coming from Hindustan, they were Muslim, you know? So the turban and all that, a lot of the Muslim in the Caribbean didn't just come from the Moorish people. A lot of it came from the Southeast Asians or the Indian Hindu people that were coming. A lot of them were Muslims. You know, they practice Islam and all that, right? This is a man from Papua New Guinea. All right. From Papua New Guinea. Again, Southeast Asian. And this person does not trace back to Africa. And again, it's weird because the Khoisan look more Asian than him, right? The Khoisan are lighter than him and they look way more Asian than him, but they're African. They're one of the oldest Africans. So that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. We got to stop basing what we think of people based only on looks. Yeah, that might, you know, help out in a big way most of the time, but we may be wrong a lot of the time. So make sure you know what you're talking about when you're talking about who's who. Remember, they brainwashed us. They put spells on us. They tricked us. They told us lies, and they wanted us to have a certain perspective of people, which was all wrong. Yeah, this person does not trace back to Africa. These haplogroups and haplogroups don't go back. They're Asian in origin. Shout out to Copper Hotstep. He showed a very scholarly, peer-reviewed article proving that the Andaman Islanders, all right, the Andaman Islanders, and I'm going to show you right now what the Andaman Islanders look like. Okay, I'm going to show you right now. Okay. All right, and these people do not trace back to Africa. Do the research, and they're very, very dark. They're very dark. All right, this is one of the darkest people that I've encountered when I'm looking for the Southeast and through the Southeast Asia. They're very dark, the Andaman Islanders, and they're not. They don't originate in Africa. They're one of the most oldest and original, actually, Asians. Their haplogroup is Asian. This was proven. Again, shout out to Copper Hotstep. I actually have a video where I showed his video. Forget which one it was. I believe it was one of the genealogy videos I have. But go ahead and do the research yourself if you like. Again, these people do not go back to Africa. I just got to repeat it a couple times. And I know for the Pan-Africans, it's hard to swallow. It's so hard to swallow for the Pan-Africans and a lot of people still that are indigenous. Yeah, a lot of the Abos too. This is a Hindu man. This is an Indian Hindu, right, who was in the West Indies. And look what he has, dreadlocks. And I noticed that a lot of these Hindus they were bringing had a lot of dreadlocks. Remember, this is from the 1800s. This is way before the whole Rastafari movement. So where did these Rastafaris really get the dreadlock idea from? Even though we know, we've seen the murals in Mexico, we've seen the Mayas, we've seen a lot of these, depicting people with, dreadlocks. All right, so we know that's old. So again, I'm asking the same question, because we know we had Mayas with dreadlocks and we have Hindus with dreadlocks. So where did the Rastafaris really get the idea for dreadlocks and all that, Because Hindus were doing it from ages and the Mayas were doing it too. It's not an African thing only, if anything. All right. This is a Hindu woman. As you see in the bottom, it says East Indian woman and child, Trinidad, British West Indies. She's from Trinidad, but she's a Hindu. All right. Again, the book told us they were bringing the slaves from where? From the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia. And this is what they look like. This is what the original people in those places look like. Not white looking Chinese people. Break the spells. Take a good look. Take a really good look. All right. This is a Tamil girl, Ceylon, Sri Lanka. She is from Sri Lanka. Look at that. She's from Sri Lanka, from Ceylon. Her clan or tribe is the Tamil people of Sri Lanka. The Tamil people of Sri Lanka. And, oh, well, this one I didn't colorize. I'm actually going to get into the Black Asians, like up north, right? The Koreans, Japanese, and the Chinese, because they were also very dark. These are just some workers they brought over. This is more modern. It's some Chinese they were bringing over, but these so-called Chinese they were actually dark. They're not really light. I haven't been able to colorize. Like, I didn't even know I had that in here. I have her. She's a Malaysian. All right. And her children, I believe, or brothers and sisters. But yeah, she's a Malaysian. Southeast Asia. This is another Tamil woman. I didn't colorize this one. It was already colorized. a Tamil woman from Sri Lanka. All right. Again, this is the original people in these areas. And we have a statue of Buddha from Thailand here. A statue of Buddha from Thailand. As you can see, the hair, type of hair. One would say that's, you know, the kinky, so-called nappy, right? The little, like twist curled, like little dreadlock, little twist dreadlocks. All right. Buddha, a statue of Buddha from Thailand, 800 AD. And honestly, some of these look like the Dinka people in Africa. So where do they really originate? A lot of the tribes in Africa, again, don't originate in Africa. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from the Middle East, so-called, you know, Arabia, you know, all these other places. A lot of them coming from Europe. Some of them coming from America, ancient America. A lot of their stories speak of it, of their migration, their past, and how they got to where they are today. Just go do the research. And another painting of Buddha. So again, we're gonna get more in depth on with this type of subjects. All right, and just real quick, 1 second, I'm gonna go somewhere else. Bear with me. Okay, and just to show you kind of what they look like originally with the pictures, you know, before I colorize them. It says here, Guyana indentured servant, from whence they left, paying homage to the indentured servants of 1834-1920. So remember, the book that people wanted me to read is actually talking about Hindu people and Asians, right, from the 1500s to the 1600s, so way before the 1800s. And I'm talking about this book right here that we're going to read in another video. But before we read this book, I wanted to break some prejudices. Again, I know I'm being repetitive, but there's a reason as to why I want to show you these pictures and these people first, so we can picture when we're reading that book who they were talking about. All right, who were they talking about? All right. And this is a Fiji man. Again, they rock the froze. The Fiji tribal man. All right, this is on Pinterest, but you can verify a lot of these things. They bring it to other websites, and we already know. I mean, I know this is a Fijian. All right. As it says here, the multiple wives of India. So a Hindu woman here, as you can see. All right. Indian coolies. Look, West Indian coolies, Jamaica, right? Jamaica. All right. West Indian coolies. So how do you know you don't have coolie or Hindu in you? You don't think none of these people ever mixed with other people? I'm sure they eventually did. You know, the motto of Jamaica, out of many, one people, right? It wasn't just Indians, wasn't just Black Europeans. It wasn't, you know, just Europeans and or just Mongols, as you want to call them, but Hindus and Southeast Asians as they were bringing over there since colonial times, not just from the 1800s. They want you to believe it was only from the 1800s. It says here, Indian slaves, indentured laborers for British profit. Again, when they're saying Indian, they don't mean American Indian. They're talking about Hindu. All right. It says here, Trinidad and Tobago experienced an influx of tens of thousands of Indians during the 19th century. Some Indians came directly from India. Many are descendants of indentured laborers. All right. Many are descendants of indentured laborers. All right. Look at that. You see? All right. So, Kurimeo, how come you don't show more people with, like us, you know, with our so-called black features? All right. Well, here you go. Here's your so-called black features. Here's your so-called black features with his kinky hair, his very dark complexion. All right. And he's in the West Indies. But guess what? He's not an American Indian or a Black European. He's a Hindu. They were bringing them over there. It says East Indian immigration, Guyana. All right, East Indian indentured immigrants in Guyana. As you go. So I'll probably end up colorizing all these other images too. You know, it just takes time. But take a good look. Again, these are the so-called Chinos. They were labeling Indian in Mexico. Yeah. Soak it all in. Empty your cup. Break the spell. It says here, Indian slaves, indentured laborers for British profit. And again, Trinidad and Tobago influenced tens of thousands of Indians, right? Hindus, tens of thousands of Hindus. And again, they got the turbans on. And I was saying earlier, a lot of these people were Muslim, you know, their other religions, Buddhist. Some more coolies, some more coolies in the West Indies. All right. You see, so-called black people, so-called Negroes. These people would be labeled as Negroes today. You know it. I don't care if you agree or not. They would have to fill out probably other, like if they were already in generations, 100 years, 3 generations in North America, they wouldn't be remembering if they came from India or anywhere, if they lost the history. They just know that eventually they were slaves. One of their grandparents was a slave, right? Supposed slave, but he was actually an indentured servant from India, right? And now he's a so-called African American. So where did the African come from? These people are not Africans. All right. And I thought this was cool. Some images of Buddha's statues and everything, or in other. Check this out. As you can see, it's all over the place. Who's the original Asians? When we're talking about bringing Chinos over here in the 1500s and 1600s. Remember, the book told us they were coming from the Indian subcontinent. From the Indian subcontinent. Look at these murals right here. Oh, look at this statue. They try to wipe off. Look at that. They try to scrape off the complexion. Look at this as well. Wow. Look at that. Almost look like the Ethiopian and Russian icons, right? Iconoclasm, right? Look at the ones on the side, especially. And then you got the Buddha. Some more images right here, as you can see. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Hope you guys are enjoying the presentation. And as you can see, it's all over the place. They know who the original people are. They make the pottery and the ceramic statues themselves. They know why they depict this guy so dark skinned. I mean, look, that looks like one of those, the blackface, with the red lips, what they call blackface performers. But it's not. That's, they're depicting a so-called Negro. Here goes, I don't know if that's Buddha or another Indian subcontinent mural. As you can see, so-called black person. All right. Another one right here. And some other ones. And as you can see, if you can see the diversity, look at the diversity. Look at his complexion. He's a little greener. He's a little greener. I don't know if that's just from fading. But as you can see, he's lighter. There's light-skinned people out here, and there's dark-skinned people together. This is all in see, I don't know if this is in India or Taiwan or Indonesia. But yeah, these are all in Asia. Just depicting the complexion, right, of their deities. Look at this. Isn't this cool? Wow. This is like Chinese letters, right? I believe right here. He looks like a Moor. These look like Moors, right? So-called Moors. Left, Buddha Jigan. Right, Benin bronze figure with conical hat. from Benin, all right? From Benin, look at the features. Tibetan Buddha with conical hat. Look at that, the conical hat. And some more right here, Phoenician conical hat. So they're comparing it, right, with the Phoenician stuff, right? They're comparing it. So who's the Phoenicians, huh? And there's some more murals right here, as you can see. So-called black people with different shades, so-called Negros, different shades, all right? But as you can see, a lot of them are very dark. But they knew the difference to depict different and different tones of complexion. These are the things they'll never show you in school. And when people talk about Asians, this is not, you know, Pan-Africans or abos, the racists or prejudice abos. They're not talking, you know, they want you to picture all of these people as looking as white. And of course, this website is saying that they all came from Africa eventually. So they're trying to say, you know, but they're not African. Their haplogroups don't trace back to Africa. All right. So they're trying to compare, I guess, something here. Oh, wow. Look at that. Wow. This is from Benin, I believe. It says here, Sanati Kanagani Buddhist stupa sculpture. All right. Got some more here. Black Buddha and the Israelite Buddhist. Hey, I don't know what they mean. It's an interesting, interesting topic here. It says, in this article, we will identify the Buddha and early Buddhists as descendants of the Hebrew Israelites. Uh-oh. Is that a future video? Who's the Buddha? Who's Buddha? Is that Quetzalcoatl? Who's Buddha? Is he a Naga? Who's the Nagas? Well, sorry about that. So who's the Nagas? Who's Buddha? Who's Quetzalcoatl? Who's Guatemala? Who's Guatemala Buddha? Who's Guatemala? What's Buddha's mom's name? Maya. Did you know that? Buddha's mom's name is Maya, and his first name is Guatemala. Guatemala. All right, remember my video I did on the that deity that was you know, he was practicing what's it called? You know, when you go up to the mountain and you just pray and stuff and you don't have no relations with women. I forget the word, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It was the Ayapan. Yeah, Ayapan and Japan. Remember my video? All right. So we had that over here too. This is a Nagpur in India, a Hindu woman, which I'm going to also colorize eventually. And I found a lot of people like her in the West Indies as well, as the coolies or indentured servants. And there's an image going around of one of these girls that's actually like her, a Hindu, and people labeled a Carib Indian. I'm serious. When I found out, you know, I was like, oh, okay, see, I didn't put the person on blast. He's a well-known person in this community, but the girl's, she's Hindu. She's not in the Carib Indian. She's like her, just like her. She had the same clothing, the earrings, the jewelry, the whole traditional clothing, and her long hair, her long, soft, you know, straight hair, just like her right here. This is from the Sidi tribe. And, you know, they want to label these people Africans because, of course, they got to try to explain why they look like that. But they don't trace back to Africa. And if they do, there was some of them that was brought as indentured servants to work on railroads, but that was much more modern times. There was people like her living already, you know, from way back before the whole railroad building thing. So they gotta, you know, they can't just go off the whole out of Africa thing. A Samoan woman, all right, Samoan woman. Says these are Polynesians. Says, why do Polynesians look so different today? Hey, I didn't write that. All right. Why do Polynesians look so different today? These are Polynesians. These people look more so-called African than the actual Khoisan, who are one of the oldest Africans. Just something for you to think about. And these people do not trace back to Africa. Okay. Another Samoan woman. Nice clothing. Traditional. Again, we're going to hook these things up. And I just want to show you guys again how we do this. You know, we got this great software from myheritage.com. You know, for me, it's worth it, you know, investing in this. And this is, you know, you know, if the pictures are small, I try to make them at least 300 pixels so they won't be blurry. So when we, you know, make them bigger, they won't, you know, pixelate. Gonna enhance this picture right here just so you guys can see what it does. All right. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this presentation today. I know I've just been on and on and on talking and going and just going, but I was trying to get this done quickly. All right, so after the enhancement, as you can see, let me just click on this lady right here. All right, you see that? You see that? All right, Hindu women. Or Tamil, I forget. We saw the original picture, but it's either Tamil or Hindu women. All right. You see? From the Indian subcontinent, Southeast Asia. All right, so again, nobody's photoshopping anything. Just wanted you guys to, you know, to see that. Just 1 second right here. So shout out to everybody that tuned in today. I appreciate everybody that came through. Again, just wanted to go ahead and just give a different perspective, shows, you know, so we can have a better orientation, so we can be able to discern a lot better. Again, I'm just trying to show you the Asians, right? The Asians, the Asians. So much love and respect to everybody that tuned in. We're going to continue. I'm going to read that book I mentioned in this video. Eventually, we're going to show you what it really says. Some good information in it, but it doesn't really explain anything about anybody being Mongol or anybody looking white or Chinese, Mongolish looking Chinese, pale skin that became Indian. The book's not talking about anything like that. So when you guys were sending me that book, you guys were trying to debunk me, a lot of you, not all of you, and you actually debunked yourself. All right, so joke's on you guys, all right? And it's funny because this song is named Joker. We're going to leave with this song right here, which is called Joker. Much love and respect. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy my presentations. You can see the Patreon link in the description of this video if you'd like to support what I do. If not, don't worry about it. I'm going to continue to do what I do either way, because this is a pleasure and this is a blessing for me to be able to do this. Thanks for tuning in again, guys. Much love and respect. Pura vida. Hawa. Wow.